Chapter 1. The Man in the Rain, approximately 5,000 words in a single paragraph format, emotionally engaging and designed for video storytelling. It was a stormy Thursday evening when Clara Matthews, a soft-spoken nurse in her early 30s, left the night shift at Willow Creek Hospital and stepped out into the kind of rain that felt like it could wash away memories. The streets were nearly deserted, headlights blurred by sheets of water and windshields smeared with hurried wiper blades. Her coat was too thin for this kind of weather, and her umbrella flipped in the wind before she gave up on it entirely. She rushed toward her old Corolla parked at the edge of the hospital lot, when suddenly, through the cascade of rain and the haze of a flickering streetlight, she saw something, or rather someone. A man, hunched over near the bus stop, soaked to the bone, clutching his side as if in pain. Something about him stopped her mid-step. Most people would have ignored him, thinking he was drunk or just another homeless wanderer. But Clara wasn't most people. She had seen too much suffering, too many people alone in their worst moments. Without hesitation, she rushed to him, kneeling beside his collapsed figure. "Sir, are you okay?" she asked, her voice barely audible over the storm. His face was bruised, eyes glassy, and he looked at her with confusion, as if trying to remember where he was, or who he was. Blood. She saw it, soaking through his shirt, mixing with the rain. Instinct took over. "You need help. Can you stand?" He nodded weakly. Clara gritted her teeth, slipped her arm under his, and with every ounce of strength she had, helped him to her car. "We'll get you patched up. Just hang on," she whispered, not knowing that her life was about to change forever. She drove quickly but carefully through the soaked streets to her small apartment on the edge of town. Bringing a wounded stranger into her home wasn't exactly safe or smart, but there was something in his eyes, broken, desperate, and oddly familiar, that told her she was meant to help him. Inside, she laid him gently on the couch, quickly gathering her medical bag, towels, and warm blankets. "I'm a nurse," she said as she cut away the wet fabric from his chest, revealing a deep gash. "You're lucky it's not deeper." He winced but remained silent. "What's your name?" she asked. "Nothing. Just a shake of the head." "Don't remember," she guessed. Another nod. "Amnesia. Trauma, maybe." She had seen similar cases before. As she cleaned the wound and stitched it, she found herself strangely drawn to him, not romantically, but deeply. Like something old was waking inside her. He was tall, muscular despite the pain, and his hands bore calluses, like a man used to hard work, or a life lived on the edge. She gave him some tea, changed his bandages, and finally, he fell asleep. Clara sat beside him, watching him breathe, wondering who this stranger was, and what had happened to him. She didn't know why she trusted him. Maybe because he had trusted her without a word. The next morning, he was still asleep when she left a note and went to her hospital shift. But throughout the day, her mind wasn't in the ICU or with her patients, it was back at her apartment, with the man in the rain. That evening, when she returned home, she expected to find him gone. But he was there, awake, sitting up, alert. He looked different now, stronger, more aware, but still cautious. "You saved me," he said, his voice low but clear. "Thank you." Clara smiled. "Any idea who you were yet?" He shook his head. "Bits and pieces. A name, Eli. That's all I've got." Eli. The name suited him, and so began a strange rhythm. Days passed. He healed. Slowly. His memories didn't return, not fully, but flashes came. Nightmares woke him. At 3 a.m., gunshots, shouting, running through darkness. Clara was always there, sitting beside him, whispering calm into the night. She never pressed him, never demanded more than he could give. And in return, Eli became her protector, even in silence. He fixed her broken kitchen drawer. Cooked eggs better than she could. Watched over her without a word. One rainy evening, he stood by the window, staring into the distance. "I think someone was after me," he muttered. "Like, I was running from something. Or someone." Clara's chest tightened. "You don't have to tell me if you're not ready." "I'm not dangerous," he said suddenly, looking at her. "I feel like I was, good. Maybe a cop. Or a soldier. But something happened. Something bad." Clara believed him. Every part of her did. But fear crept in like the rain under a door. Who was he really? And why had no one come looking? Days turned into weeks. And slowly, something unspoken grew between them. It wasn't love. Not yet, but it was connection. One night, Clara brought out an old shoebox of photographs from her childhood. She showed him her younger brother, who had died in a car crash. Her parents, long divorced. Her nursing school graduation. Eli stared at one photo longer than the others. That man. Behind you. At the back. Clara leaned in. That's my uncle. He was FBI. Eli paled. I've seen him before. Her eyes widened. Where? In a memory, he whispered. I was talking to him. Arguing. Then I was running. Something cold slithered up Clara's spine. Why would you be arguing with my FBI uncle? Eli looked at her then, haunted, unsure. I don't know. But I think I wasn't supposed to survive. Silence filled the room. Rain tapped the windows like fate knocking. In that moment, Clara realized she was in deeper than she thought. This man, this stranger, was not just some lost soul. He was someone important, someone in danger, and by helping him, she had unknowingly stepped into a world far darker than she imagined. But it was too late now. She couldn't abandon him, even if it meant putting herself at risk. Even if it meant everything she thought she knew about kindness and fate was about to be rewritten. For the next 3 days, Clara moved through her shifts like a ghost, her thoughts tangled in what Eli had said, the memory of her uncle, the argument, the sense that he wasn't supposed to survive. Every word haunted her like a whisper she couldn't unhear. Eli had gone quiet again, retreating into his own mind as if each new piece of his past brought a storm louder than the rain outside. She watched him pace the apartment some nights, staring out the windows as if expecting shadows to appear, hands balled into fists, jaw tight. He didn't speak of the memory again, and she didn't press him. But inside, her heart beat with questions. What had he seen? Why had he been with her uncle, an FBI agent? And more importantly, why did she feel this growing sense of danger, like something unseen was watching their every move? On the 4th night, her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but instinct made her swipe the screen. A low voice spoke, male, urgent. Clara Matthews. She froze. Yes, I'm Special Agent Griffin, FBI. I need to speak with you about a patient you may have encountered. Her blood turned to ice. What patient? Tall man, mid-30s, athletic build, possibly wounded, maybe suffering from memory loss. He's dangerous, Clara. If you've had any contact. I haven't, she interrupted, too fast. Too afraid. Must be a mistake. Silence. Then a click. The line went dead. She stared at the phone, her fingers shaking. Dangerous. Eli. No. They were wrong. Or lying. Or, she didn't know. She walked into the living room, found him reading a book on the couch, calm. Gentle, safe. But was he? Could she really trust her gut? The next day, she called her uncle's old number, but it was disconnected. Her hands trembling, she dug through old papers and found a dusty contact card from years ago. Michael Landry, FBI Counterintel Division. She dialed. It rang twice. Then a familiar voice answered. Clara. Her breath caught. Uncle Mike. I need to ask you something. It's about a man. She gave a vague description, but before she could finish, he interrupted. You've seen him. Not a question. A fact. I've been helping him. He was hurt. He didn't remember who he was. But now, he remembered you. Said you were arguing. Silence stretched. Then, with a grim tone, he said, Clara. Listen to me carefully. That man's name is Elijah Cross. He was one of our own. Until everything went to hell. What do you mean? She whispered. He was a deep cover operative. Infiltrated a powerful syndicate 5 years ago. We lost contact 2 months ago after an ambush. We assumed he was dead. But if he's alive, and he's with you, they're going to come looking. They think he flipped, that he ran, but he didn't remember anything. She cried. I don't know what's true anymore. Clara, her uncle's voice cracked, you're in danger. You have to leave him. Now. But how could she? She hung up, her mind spinning. When she walked back in, Eli stood there, holding her phone. His eyes locked on hers. You called him. Her heart sank. Eli, it's okay, he said softly. You had to know. I wanted to tell you. But I wasn't sure if it was real. Now I remember. He sat down slowly, looking haunted, broken. My name is Elijah Cross. I worked for the FBI. Went undercover inside a trafficking ring. The kind that buys people, smuggles children, destroys lives. I was in too deep. My last assignment, it went bad. Someone sold me out. My cover was blown. They tried to kill me. I barely escaped. I must have blacked out. You found me before they did. But the FBI said you might have turned, she whispered. That you were dangerous. His eyes met hers, raw with pain. Maybe I am. I've done things I can't forget. But I never betrayed them. Never. Clara wanted to believe him. She did believe him. But trust wasn't enough anymore. The storm had caught up to them. That night, a black car parked across the street. No one got out. It just sat there, humming like a growl beneath the rain. Clara saw it from her window. So did Eli. They've found me, he said, pulling the curtain shut. We have to run. Run where? She asked, panic rising. Somewhere safe. Somewhere I can finish what I started. He looked at her, fierce and desperate. They're not just after me. They're after what I know. I stole something, evidence. I hid it before they could find it. If we get it back, I can clear my name. End this. But I can't do it alone. Why me? She asked, tears slipping down her cheeks. Because you saved me, he said, stepping closer. You saw me when I was broken. And you didn't walk away. Against every instinct, she nodded. Okay. Let's go. They left in the dead of night, the rain like a curtain behind them. For 2 days they drove through backroads, changing motels, using fake names. At last, they arrived at an old storage facility on the edge of a city she didn't recognize. Eli punched in a code and opened a rusted locker. Inside was a metal briefcase. He opened it slowly, revealing a hard drive, documents, photos, proof of everything. Names, faces, transactions, FBI agents who were compromised, judges who took money. Clara gasped. This is explosive, which is why they want me dead. As they stared at the files, headlights flared outside. Too late. They'd been tracked. Run, Eli said, pushing the drive into her hands. Get this to your uncle. No matter what. What about you? I'll hold them off. No, she cried. I won't leave you. He grabbed her face, eyes burning. You saved me once. Let me save you now. The door exploded. Gunfire rang out. Clara ran, tears blinding her, clutching the evidence. Behind her, she heard the chaos. And then, nothing. She made it to a nearby station, breathless, sobbing, thrusting the drive into a police officer's hands. Get this to Michael Landry. FBI. Within hours, everything changed. Federal agents swarmed the facility. The ring was exposed. Names arrested. Operations shut down. Her uncle met her at dawn. You did it, he whispered. But where's Elijah? Clara looked at him, broken. I don't know. Weeks passed. Eli was never found. Official reports listed him as missing in action. Presumed dead. But Clara never believed that. She returned to her quiet apartment. Her hospital. Her old life. But she wasn't the same. And then, on a rainy morning, just like the first, she found a note under her door. 3 words, written in black ink. I'm still here. And tucked with it, a pressed white lily. Her favorite flower. Clara smiled, tears falling silently. Somewhere, Elijah Cross was still out there. Watching. Waiting. And maybe, just maybe, fate would bring them together again. It had been 117 days since that night. Since the gunfire, the escape, the evidence, the storm. And yet Clara still woke up every morning half expecting to find Eli sitting on her couch, sipping coffee the way he used to, his eyes watching her like she was the only steady thing in his shattered world. But all she had now was the note, those 3 chilling, beautiful words, I'm still here, and a single pressed lily, white as the moon, now kept inside the pages of her nursing textbook like a sacred promise. She couldn't sleep anymore, not properly. Not after everything. The FBI shut down the ring. Dozens were arrested. Her uncle had been promoted and praised for his niece's bravery. News reporters tried to chase her down for interviews, but she turned them all away. How could she talk about what had happened when the most important part of the story was missing, when Eli had vanished like a whisper into the dark? But Clara wasn't the kind of woman to let questions go unanswered. So she started looking, quietly, carefully, visiting the places he might have gone, checking aliases, digging through online forums, encrypted files, even tracing safe houses used by undercover agents. For weeks, she found nothing but silence and shadows. Until one night, she got a call from an untraceable number. A voice disguised through static. The lily means hope. It means he's watching over you. But they're still out there. The ones who didn't get caught. Before she could reply, the call ended. Her heart raced. Eli. It had to be him. But what did it mean? That he couldn't come back. That he was still running. That the war wasn't over. Clara sat alone on her bed, holding that note again, when the knock came at her door, 3 soft taps. She froze. No one should be there at midnight. Carefully, she peered through the peephole, and her knees nearly gave out. A woman stood there, soaked in rain, young, terrified, holding a duffel bag. Clara opened the door slowly. "Are you Clara Matthews?" The girl whispered. "He told me to find you." Clara pulled her inside, locking the door. "Who are you?" The girl collapsed on the couch, tears falling. "My name's Maya. I was part of the same ring. He saved me." "Eli?" Clara asked, her voice trembling. Maya nodded. "He broke in, risked everything, got us out of that place. But the others, there's still one more boss. Someone above the FBI agents. Someone powerful. Eli's trying to expose him, but he needs help. And he's hurt." Clara's heart shattered. "Where is he?" "I can take you," Maya said. And so, without telling a soul, Clara left with her. They drove for 6 hours through mountain roads, dirt paths, past ghost towns until they reached an abandoned ranger cabin hidden deep in the woods. There, lying on a makeshift bed, pale and bleeding from a bullet wound, was the man she had once found in the rain. Elijah Cross. He looked up, eyes hazy but shining. "Clara," he whispered, like her name was the only thing keeping him alive. She rushed to his side, her nurse instincts kicking in, already assessing the injury. "Why didn't you call me sooner?" she asked, tears falling as she worked. "Because they're listening," he replied weakly. "Watching everything. I had to stay hidden. But I couldn't do it without you." Clara stitched his wound by lantern light, Maya holding the flashlight steady. Hours passed before Eli could even sit up. When he finally did, he told her everything. There was another name, Vincent Hale, a billionaire tech mogul who had secretly funded the trafficking network, laundering money through charity fronts and using political favors to silence investigations. "He's the head of the snake," Eli said. "The others we caught, they were just pawns." "But why are you still running?" Clara asked. "Because I've got something he wants." Eli reached into a bag and pulled out a black USB drive. "This has voice recordings, ledgers, everything. But if I upload it, they'll kill everyone involved. You, Maya, me. Then what do we do?" Clara whispered. "We go public," he said. "But we do it smart. Safe." Over the next 2 days, they crafted a plan. Clara contacted a journalist she trusted, an old friend from school now working at a major investigative outlet. The journalist agreed to meet, in secret. They passed over the files, gave her names, photos, tapes. The story was explosive, and once it went live, everything unraveled. Vincent Hale's empire collapsed. Arrests were made across the globe. Clara and Eli became symbols, not of revenge, but of rescue. Of fighting for those who couldn't. And yet, just as quietly as he had come into her life, Eli prepared to disappear again. "They'll keep hunting me," he said as they stood by the edge of the forest. "There will always be someone who wants me gone." Clara held his hand. "Then let them come. We'll face it together." He smiled, the first real smile she had seen since that rainy night. "You've saved me more than once, Clara Matthews. Maybe one day, I'll get to save you." "You already did," she replied. "You reminded me that kindness can still change the world." And with that, he pulled her into his arms, kissed her forehead, and walked away into the trees. No promises. No goodbyes. Just the quiet certainty of a story not quite finished. Weeks later, as Clara returned to her normal life, stronger now, more fearless, she received a package. No return address. Inside was a new note. "The rain brought us together. The truth set us free. But the world still needs more light. Keep being the light." Beneath it was a flash drive, with new evidence, new names, a new mission. And once again, a single white lily.